So yeah, I guess like just give us like or just give us a background for how long you've been selling, what store do you sell at, like give the background of your career of Jesse.
Sure. Um, Thank you for the opportunity and the positive feedback.
Hmm.
Um, it has been phenomenal, and it was a scary leap took a leap of faith and invested in myself, and did something that no one I know has really done. Um, I've been I've been in sales a while, quite a while, and I started selling cars like kind of randomly, and I really liked it.
Mm.
Um, I'd been there. I started at I work in northern Colorado, Fort Collins, little college town, great like population, like really nice neighborhoods.
Hmm.
Relatively affluent, great schools. I've got two little boys, so
Hmm.
so we settled down in a place that is really great for raising a family.
Yeah.
Um, but I was kind of like, you know, wishy-washy with where I wanted my career to go. Um, and someone was like, you know, sell cars. And even though it was kind of scary, I took it on, and I started selling cars. My first day on the floor was April 29th or 30th, whatever the last day in April was.
Hmm.
I was training for 2 weeks, and then I got my sales license, and they cut me loose. And the first customer I talked to, I closed a fat deal. Um, and it was
The
so exciting.
best.
Like, yeah, like like 2 hours of work for like $2,000.
Right.
And and it was really exciting. And then going into May, June, July, like I was consistently, making $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So,
Hmm.
selling anywhere from I never sold less than 10 cars, but I never sold more than 18 or 19. Um, and to, my dealership, that's pretty, the average is about nine.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's definitely people getting six, and there's definitely people getting 13, 14, 15, and there's 16 consultants there.
Hmm.
Um, so I felt like I was doing good. It was exciting. And now for the first time ever, I have autonomy. I could just be like, I'm going to go. I don't have an appointment for another hour. I'm going to just go and take care of an errand or whatever. And I felt like empowered to do that. And it was great. And everyone warned me, like, it's not going to be this abundant in the winter.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, but I'm a boss, so I'll figure it out. And then, lo and behold, uh, December, 9 cars, January, 6 cars, February, 8 cars. And I was tripping. I was like, I made a horrible mistake. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. We're paying almost 3,000 a month in childcare between our two boys. Um,
Hmm.
and me working long hours, like having multiple days, like going in the cold and the snow and not getting a deal and being there all day, and like not seeing a single customer, taking a single up, was really disheartening. And we were like on the verge of me like throwing in the towel. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just like be a seasonal car salesman, and
Hmm.
find another job in the winter. And I'm like reading like sales books. I started listening to Andy Elliott. Like maybe it's a skill thing,
Hmm.
and talking to my managers, and they're like, no, you're really good. We just don't have any traffic.
Hmm.
So I, obviously the YouTube was reading my brain. And then I see, TJ all the time. Are you a car salesman struggling, like stuck in the 10 to 15 cars? Like, are you a car salesman? Are you tired of waiting around for ups and phone call? Like, and I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm not going to like click on your ad. Um,
uh,
so there's that. And then I kind of saw some other like kind of the same genre of like, I think, listening to Andy Elliott and like kind of following him, like all these sales coaching ads pop up.
yeah.
And then I investigated lead hunters for several weeks, um, before I finally submitted my information. Dude called me right away. Super cool. Was the other guy? Anders?
Yeah, yeah.
And great closer, closed me on the package. I was like, yeah, I'm just take it out of savings, like, woo woo. And oh, you can even finance it. Cool. So
Hmm.
get to work, right? They're like, obviously my husband's like, this is what we're gonna spend our savings on. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I can sell. I think that if I really apply myself, and I didn't really understand like what it entailed, right? Like I seen what's his name, that really successful guy that you've helped. Like he
Right, right.
mentioned a couple times, like once I started doing the ads and stuff, and I was like open to that, but I didn't like totally understand or like grasp what that meant.
Right.
And so I thought it was just going to be like a hoorah coaching, like, you like obviously use my social media a little bit more. Like you tell me like, oh, you need to get a haircut and then you're going to sell more, like whatever, like start kind of seeing you guys as like consultants and like coaches and, which is how I've explained it the whole time. And, I think starting at the very beginning, like with, finding my why, which is all exercises I've done before. Like I've been in sales a long time, but I
Hmm.
hadn't, when I got to car sales, it was kind of hands off
Right.
and with my leaders. And they're like, you can sell 20 cars on the 30th and the next day it's the first. And they're like 0 to 0, like now you got to do it again. And there's not a lot of like camaraderie or teamwork, which is fun. Like I can like, it turned me into a savage.
Hmm.
But I just didn't feel like I was getting any coaching or feedback. And, and then starting at the beginning, like, doing my I forget what it was. But one of the exercises, right? Like where you see yourself, like what do you look like in a month, 3 months,
Right.
and then building a customer avatar, and then doing the daily 20 miles, like time blocking, all stuff that it's like, okay, I could have figured this stuff out if I was like TJ and a psycho and just like turned off every distraction my entire life and focused on it. And I was like, he like did the heavy lifting for me. Like this is the formula to you know to just be consistent. And yeah, it's like not anything like groundbreaking, no shade. But
Hmm.
I was like, he's read all the books, he's watched all the things, like he's listened to all the podcasts, he's talked to a lot of people, he's invested a lot in himself.
Hmm.
And I heard, I was starting to hear really good things about Adrian. Um, so yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. But I got on the, first thing, like, here's the ads. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah.
Are you, are you, and I wanted it to be sexy, right? I wanted it to be like, are you a single parent making 200,000 a year? Like, I wanted
Yeah,
it to be
right.
like super cool. Like, I want to be selling like, cause I work at a GMC dealership.
Yeah.
I want to be selling like, $100,000 Yukon Denali's, to like these super hot moms that live in Fort Collins.
Right.
And, you just have to follow the data. And like, that's the thing I consistently learn is like, it doesn't matter. Like people will tell you what they want, but the data suggests something else. So by
Hmm.
utilizing that and like having the, like the person in a position of power or whatever, like you and Adrian are like very, analytical, logical, like data driven, and that's what's making businesses successful. That's what's making everyone successful. Like
Hmm.
now I listen to a ton of entrepreneur and like personal like wealth and health development, and it's all like everyone who's like older, who kind of came up in this and have been doing it for a lot longer than we have,
Hmm.
and saying the answer is data. Like
Yeah.
he who
Numbers.
has data the best will win. Um, and they're already rich, so they don't care. They're like, yeah,
Right, right.
whoever figures out how to do the data thing, like they're gonna surpass us, right?
Hmm.
Um, so so the data suggests that we try this ad and then we try this and then we try these pictures. And so I'm like, I'm doing new things. I'm taking like selfies with my customers for the first time.
Yeah, right.
Um, and I'm getting video testimonials, and I'm putting out other like bad credit ads, and I'm like, I don't really want to help people with bad credit, and I'm like, no, that's stupid. Like, uh, and then that totally becomes like my niche. I have all these people contacting me. They're like, I have bad credit, and I'm a good listener, and I just been like, oh, I understand, honey. Like, I got mouths to feed too. Like it's tough out here, and and I develop my skills like in a like kind of fine tune it. Thank you, Adrian.
Hmm.
Um, really driving home like the point of like the data suggests if you get the appointment, your odds are way higher, right?
Right.
The data suggests if you make contact in 5 minutes, your odds are way higher. So
Yep.
just following that consistently, having Adrian check in on me. And it also was like me seeking out feedback too, like, hey, what'd you think of that ad? Or and then once we launched, it was a little scary, um, because I was here I am spending like anywhere from $10 to $30 a day on ads, and it took me a couple weeks, right? So
Hmm.
my husband's like, what's this $164 charge on Facebook? What's this $85 charge on Facebook? I'm like, those are my ads. He's like, have you met anyone through these ads yet? I'm like, no, not yet. And then boom, all at once. And this is all Adrian working in the background. All at
Yep.
once, I start getting hella leads. And
Hmm.
and I'm working them the way I've been coached to work them. And I'm going through the process and I'm using the tools. And I get like 5 deals back to back to back to back to back. And
Oh yeah.
people are like, hey, I saw your ad, and like I'm getting referrals. And my Instagram page is like everyone at my dealership is like, I love your page. Like it's so cool to see like the customers with the big bow and da da da, and you're having so much fun. And uh,
Hmm.
they totally dig it. They didn't try and like compensate me for what I spent, but they were like,
Hmm.
"Whoa." Anyway, that was that was just in the last like month,
Yeah.
and I've been keeping in close contact with you guys too, and giving
Yep.
my peers like a lot of positive feedback. And even though I'm super busy, like still trying and jump on the coaching calls as much as I can, because I still feel like I just barely scratched the surface.
A
And then,
hundred percent. You're
right?
getting warmed up.
Yes. And then another Honda dealership reaches out to me and was like, yo, we love your style. We want you to come be our internet director, more or less.
That's so
Um,
amazing. They
I
see
know.
you.
Yes.
Your face is out there, right?
They saw my face and they know, it's all the dealerships kind of all know each other, right? So
Hmm.
especially if like the same brands. Um, so I was working up until very recently for a small family dealership.
Yeah.
Um, and now and so a large like multi-state auto group reached out to me, and they made me a super good offer,
Hmm.
and they yeah so one of their stores is like kind of redoing everything. They got a new location,
Yeah.
this home store I'm going to go to. They already broke ground on a new location, but it's going to take like a year to finish.
Hmm.
So in the meantime this year they want to build their team.
Right.
And so they brought me on, a couple other people, and they're like, we're not going to run a BDC like any other dealership. We're not going to do internet leads like any other dealership. We're doing this totally different. I talked to the head of marketing for the auto group yesterday, actually, and he's like, I love your creativity. He's like, just tell me what you need. Like, make your little reels, like, have fun with the team, and I'll get you the card and we can boost it. And I,
Let's
I got
go.
I know, I had gotten a chance to talk to you guys about it, but I took a lot of notes and I was like, this is the thing, like I'm going to be able to scale this like with a team of 8 to 12 consultants, however we end up hiring,
Right.
and have like liberties and a budget um, and if we're kind of the guinea pig for this dealer group, and if we can make it successful, and I definitely want to use the lead hunters kind of outline in the program, um, then we could not only like make hella money, but just make a like a profound shift in that. And that's like I'm like on fire for that right now. Like there is so many like up and coming like software, just like cultural shifts and
Mm-hmm.
uh, social media is revolutionizing the way people shop and spend money, and that's like a given.
Yeah.
And the car dealership is like been so antiquated for so long. Like I genuinely feel like uh, I have an opportunity to yeah to be like a trailblazer.
A
Um,
100%.
yeah, so I'm super excited about that. I start Monday, like officially, but I've
That's so
already been
amazing.
yeah. Um, so yeah, man, I'm just really grateful. I can't wait to talk more with you and Adrian offline and
Yeah.
come up come up with a plan for
This new
scale.
dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to have a large impact. You're going to make very big waves, and like what you learned now, like imagine that being applied to like your whole store and like the amount of like people that you're going to like have. Because like just basically like imagine Jesse, but like times 8 or 12, like the amount of people they have on the team. That's crazy, right? Um, but yeah, no, you've been doing really good, and I think the mindset aspect of it's been very helpful for you, like going through and like taking those big steps and betting on yourself. I think that's one thing that's helped you be really successful throughout this entire journey. Um, but yeah, I guess to go in terms of like last month, right? You said last month like was really when everything clicked together. Like, what was the amount of sales that you made? How much did you make out of that one single month?
So last month I sold okay, last month I spent about $450 on boosting my ads, right? On my ads, okay? Um I got I think 34, 35 leads,
Mhm.
okay? And I can look back and confirm this, but I booked a good percentage of appointments. Probably not a lot of them showed, probably not quite 50%, but still way more appointments than I was just getting at my dealership.
Yep.
In the month of June, I sold 13 cars, and five of them were from leads that I generated myself. Um, and of my entire paycheck was 11,000. I'm pretty sure my lead hunter leads were about six.
That's beautiful. It's like more
That
than
answers the
half of
question.
the
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the income too, right? Because like, when I found my niche of people with bad credit, like obviously I work for a reputable dealership and we sell good cars, but we also, they're used cars and I don't know what it takes to recondition it or what that car costs. And I just land someone on a car. If that's the car they want, that's the car they get approved for. Like there's no haggling. So um I yeah, it just follow the process. It's super simple.
Yeah. Cause like now that's kind of like puts you in a place where like I guess kind of walk through the emotional side of like going through this whole decision making process because like I get it on the other side. Like I've also been like a consumer of like different programs and stuff like that. And like it's scary. Like, like how did you go through like making the jump to actually want to get into our program? Like how was that experience for you? Because obviously that was a big decision for you.
I just felt like, like when you like what was it? Like after I had my baby, I had a wedding to go to
Mm-hmm.
and I bought a dress that was way too small on purpose. So I would have to like really work hard to be able to fit into that dress. It's just one of those things like giving yourself like no handicap, like taking away the plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was super scary, but coincidentally, my husband at the same time was investigating starting his own business. We both have
Mm-hmm.
worked for corporations like the entire time we've known each other. Well, he hasn't worked for corporate, but he's always worked for like medium-sized businesses. I've always worked for huge businesses, and until I started selling cars. But he, we've always had a boss, and he's super creative, and I think he's has way more of like an entrepreneurial mind than I do. And he was like, I think I'm gonna pursue this other thing in my free time. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then he lost his job. He got laid off. And he's like, and I was, we're people of faith. And I was like, okay, this is what he's supposed to be doing, you know? And so we took a big leap there. And I was like, don't try and find another job. We're just going to pursue this other project that you have. Like, you showed me all the numbers, you showed me the data. It can work as long as you apply yourself and you don't quit. Like, there's absolutely no reason why it can't,
Mm,
you know, um, unless we have like a huge economical crash and like the forest burned down and there's no more wood to make doors, your
mm,
business will succeed. Okay.
mm, mm,
So don't be a scaredy cat and try and just have one foot in, like, let's do it all the way. Right. And Andy Elliott really shifted my mindset too,
mm,
about that, and about just like not do it, take the jump, and freaking swim. Like, you
yeah.
have to swim. It's your life, So it was just funny how, we decided to do that. He wasn't going to look for another job. Um, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this other thing. I'm going to be making, like, give me a couple months, give me 6 months. I'm going to be making at least 20,000 a month.
Mm,
Like, that will be achievable. And he's like, well, shit, I'll never have to go back to work. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then you can just do your thing. Like, I'm happy to do that. I was like, you're going to have to help me like edit some like Instagram reels. Um, because you're home all the time. Now he's like a stay-at-home dad. I freaking love it. Uh,
mm,
and he works on his own project. But it made me, it really got me excited once I made that decision. I was like, okay, here I go. Like,
wow.
here's the debit card. And now absolutely no excuses. Do I want to sleep in? No. Like I already invested this, and like, do I want to like skip this? Do I want to, sleep on the meeting? Like, nope, I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow it 100%. I'm going to give it everything. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to work with integrity, and I'm going to set myself apart from every single person. Um, and that just kind of being I never really was like a super overachiever,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like pretty fortunate in that, like, come from a good family, like, like not like nothing like egregious or crazy ever happened to me. Like, and so I just feel like I uh didn't ever really like have to hustle that hard to get to where I'm at, like I've always been pretty fortunate and blessed, I think. Um,
Mm,
and acknowledging that, okay, well, like that mindset and that like being happy with just working at a corporation for 70 to 90,000 a year, having benefits, like dude, forget that, like in this economy, like, no thank you, like, not interested. And also, now that I've achieved this, I'm like, dude, with
what
this
else?
mindset, yeah, you could flip notebooks on Amazon with this mindset.
You
Like,
could do anything.
you can do anything. Like, it's ridiculous.
Anything.
Like,
Hell yeah.
I want to like refinish furniture. Like, I love doing that kind of stuff, doing crafty stuff,
Yep.
but it's not enough money. So yeah, that was the shift. And now I'm like, if I'm, I've found a lot more discipline in a lot of areas, not every area. And some days I'm a lot better than others. And I've made more time for, connecting with my higher power, my spirituality, which was
I
always kind of
love it.
there. I just feel like, I feel fortunate that I did have some of those good fundamentals, and this that it all came together, and I had my husband's support, and I had, and you guys were really good about staying in touch, so I didn't feel like I was drowning or struggling or whatever. Um,
Mm,
and yeah, I worked really hard. I am working really hard.
hell yeah. You deserve it for sure. Like big mindset shift. I think that's a really like core thing that I'm hearing right now is like having that faith, having that undeniable belief that you're going to be able to make it and do whatever you set your mind to and like create the end goal. That's amazing because I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up in like the beginning for sure, and not seeing it through. But like having that foundation where it's like, going through the process, and like even if it sucks in between, you see that vision at the end. And that's why like I think it's so powerful when like you share that, because that's your anchor, right? Like you had your family, your husband around you to support you and like push you to do big scary things, because most people are on the fence. And in your situation, right, it's like there's no other option. Like, you decide you didn't want to keep settling for the life that you had, and it's like I got to do something different, right?
Yeah. So, and it's kind of funny too. Like now I'm like, in the shower every morning, like listening to these motivational podcasts and, like husband and wife, he just kind of comes in to grab something and then leaves. And I'm like, he's talking to me. I'm like, I'm trying to get pumped up for the day. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, all right, all right. And he doesn't tease me about it, which he used to. And I'll, like I'm a big like audible learner. And like I said, like I really, really try to maintain that. And I'm like, dude, I can't, like, the vibe has to be good right now. Like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to be angry. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to withhold anything. Like, the vibe has to be good. Like, I'm sorry if I am coming off as cold or dismissive, but like, I need to just move on from this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm not like, I have, like, my mind has to always be like, you know,
In
present
a good space.
and moving forward, right? Like,
Right.
so
So
it's been tough, but but I tell people now, I'm like, dude, I'm kind of,
you're a G.
yeah, yeah.
You're in that G headspace. Yeah, I love it. It's like I'll do whatever it takes. Like you put the bets on yourself. I love that mindset, because like that's what it takes to win. I think that more than anything else, because like, the blueprint's there, but it's like if you really set yourself to it, then you can make it happen. And I love that you believe that you could do anything you set your mind to. That's the key for sure. Um, I also do want to ask you about like your journey going through like the beginning of the program and having to go through the ups and downs and the like the what I like to call the eating shit phase, where like, you had to go through and like just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, until it started to crack last month, and everything it started to just like crack for you and it started to pour. So how was that experience going through the hardest part of the journey with us?
Well, the hardest part I'd say, like, was just finding what platform, my customers were going to be more engaged on. Once Adrian built the landing page, that was what I needed. And like I was really like active on Instagram and spending all this time trying to make like the perfect video, and then spending money to boost it, and then compulsively checking it like every hour, like how many views did I get, da, da, da.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting some traction there, like for sure, um, people asking me for more information, and then trying to staying in contact with them, being really good about reaching out to every single person who liked or commented.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, not different than what I was doing with my current dealership. And we have our CRM, and they pay for their leads, however, whatever method they get them. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
lucky to get like, you know, 10 leads a week on the
Yeah.
internet. And people are always complaining about that. Oh, these leads are trash. It's just for like, they want to sell me their car, or it's like a service lead or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was super excited just because I'm getting like, likes and views and follows. Um, and I was following up with them a lot. But that Instagram is tough because it's pretty disorganized, and the app, it's not really conducive to like business follow-ups. Um,
Right.
so great for like sharing content.
Yeah.
Um, but Facebook, once we got into the Facebook, it was a lot more successful. So yeah, that first month I was creating a bunch of videos. Like I was, paying someone to edit them for me,
Right. Right.
going back and forth about like, oh, the audio's not good. And they're like, oh, well, you got to refilm it. And I'm like, God, like, I'm not gonna refilm it. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
busy. And also, like I still sold like 10 cars in May. Like I still had a busy month, just none of it was from lead hunters. And um, my husband's like, I don't know, like, is this a thing? And um yeah, so it was just sticking with that, like having that tenacity and believing you, right? Like there's no reason why you or Adrian would want to be dishonest with me. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to gain, you
Nothing.
know? So if you're telling me like don't quit before the miracle happens, then I would be an idiot to quit before the miracle happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had this problem too, because like being a female, like not being a troll, and then seeing people around me that I feel like aesthetically aren't on my level, and then they're selling a ton of cars. I'm like that's just unacceptable. So
Yeah, yeah.
I should be like dusting these fools like so hard.
Uh,
Um, like I've always, utilized that, which is why I love sales because I can just, like it's all about the presentation and the appearance and that's for sure like still true, but honestly you know, it doesn't really matter if you're using the data, right? If you're like correctly targeting the audience, like it
yeah.
doesn't matter like how fleeked my hair is that day or like
Mm,
what outfit I'm wearing. Like if I'm delivering a message that's relatable, that my avatar is, or I'm offering a service that I'm fixing a problem, right? I'm solving an issue. Like
mm,
if I'm correctly using that data and targeting those types of shoppers, then I will get people interested.
right. So it sounds like Instagram in the beginning was like that was the roughest part, trying to figure out Instagram and then like trying to stay consistent with your posting and then the advertisements and everything there. And like during that time period was like where like the doubts started to creep in, like, is this working? Is this like you're starting to question like the process from A to Z, and then it's just being able to stick through it and then trust the process and like trust that we are going in the right direction. You said once we got into Facebook and then we dialed in our Facebook process, that's when things started to come together for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was exciting. Like
Mm.
I get, you know, I get notifications in the chat when a lead comes in and Adrian would be like, "You just got another one. You just got another one."
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so that was another learning process too because I don't know why. I think maybe it was because they were really abundant. Um, but I lost focus on selling the appointment. Easy
Mm-hmm.
sell, but if you don't do it, like if you try and skip that step, then there's no deal regardless, you know? So that was a skill that I needed to be better at. And
Mm-hmm.
I had, like one conversation. I got coached. We had a follow-up discussion and I was like, cool, like skill acquired. Um,
Yeah,
so now I'm gonna do it this way because this is the way that it works. And then lo and behold, like it worked.
yeah.
Um,
Because like for you, you know like in your situation, it's like what like are the main skills that you felt like you took away or learned going through this process? Like what are the main things that you feel like you took away that now is like, oh wow, like I didn't know that it worked this way, or like, now that I did it, it makes more sense as to how like this process works. Because you had the blueprint, you had our processes, we gave that to you, but then like it's the lessons along the way of how to use the system and the process that kind of moves the needle forward. So what do you feel like you've learned that made you really get things to click?
so as humbling as it is to say, there was like a point in time where I was talking to Adrian. I was like, yeah, I talked to this guy last night. It was like Sunday night. We talked on the phone for like 45 minutes. And then and we set an appointment, but he was like, I'm gonna go look at this car tonight, like on Craigslist. And he ended up buying the car. And I'm like, cool, great, like good for you. And Adrian was like, dude, have some self-respect. Like, don't talk to someone for 45 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So just small actionable items. Don't skip the step. Like the goal is the appointment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like get their butt in the door. And that's all that any dealership wants. Just get your butt in the door, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you buy a car here, a new, used, but ultimately, like we want your butt in the door so we can, try to kind of get the trifecta from you, like the car sale, the finance sale, and the service sale. Um, so, and none of it can happen unless they come in. But talking to customers, they're like, after I give them 10, 20 minutes of my time, they're like, or, talking to my leads, they're like, you're so like amazing. This is so refreshing. Most consultants are just like, when can you come in? When can you come in? When can you come in?
Yep.
Um, and it's like, well, all I know is when I come in, I'm going to fill out a credit app and I'm going to get denied. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'm like, yeah. Uh, but, if you just follow the process and get them to come in, right, by, in an empathetic and patient way, but not too patient. Like, now I'm
Mm-hmm.
setting my timer. I'm setting up the call. Like, I'm closing the call. I'm like, okay, like, would you have time for a call? Okay, yeah, this is the time. Cool. Then I call and say, hey, I only have 10 minutes and I got to get back to work.
Yep.
And then we talk. Okay, and then we set the appointment at the end of the 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then I learned through trial and error, like if you don't confirm the appointment,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they won't come.
Nope.
So it's better to do that. And with each appointment that showed, I think only one of them I didn't confirm like at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look at my metrics to see how many appointments showed. Um, but I probably would have had less shown if I hadn't gotten better at following up. And that was just after like multiple people bailed, and I was like, what the hell? Um, so I learned that, that kind of lesson, and then, just continuing to drive home, like, and remembering, like, and I kind of feel like I always knew this. Maybe I lost sight of it, but like you can't assume anything, right? Like
Yeah. 100%.
you can't assume anything. Someone with bad credit, well, maybe they have a rich boyfriend, or maybe they have, a sick grandma who just wants to give them money, or maybe their mom has great credit and they just didn't even think to ask her because they're so independent.
Yep.
Um, so you just can't assume anything. So treat everyone like they've got
A
great
customer.
credit and they're going to get approved. Everyone came to buy, can buy, will buy.
Hell yeah.
Right? Everyone came to the dealership because they want to buy, they are going to buy, and they will buy.
Mm-hmm.
Having that mindset again, like with every single appointment,
Yep.
and taking that swing with all my appointments who showed up. Uh, there was definitely like some people who we couldn't get approved, and by having that, like setting that timer and saying like, okay, well, you know thanks, sorry we couldn't work it out, like, here's what, if I were you, I would do these things to kind of see if your credit gets better in the next 6 months, or talk to your friend back in Tulsa, like whatever, and be kind and respectful and empathetic, and but once we acknowledge that it's not going to happen, it's not going to work, like cut them loose, and on to the next one. um
Yeah.
and try and practice that with each person.
Mm-hmm. So like every single part of the sale, like literally the appointment, confirming the appointment, like being able to sell them on actually feeling like you can help them, being different on the phone, and
Yes.
then actually when they do show up, like going through the whole process, not skipping steps, like treating them like a regular customer, like taking them from the whole process, showing them the car, getting them to want to like test it, feel it, love it, and then like once you sit down, then actually being able to fight for the co-signer and find somebody, because if they really love it, they'll find a way because they're now sold on the idea of them owning that car now, right?
Yep. Sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So it's like now you can kind of see a comprehensive like process where it's like, okay, cool. I ran an ad. Now I have a that drove them to a landing page. I collect their information, and then now I have them in my CRM. But that's like 50% of the job's done. But then now it's like, okay, I gotta call them, I gotta follow up with them, I gotta set the appointment, I gotta get them to show up. And then once they show up, that's when you can start working your magic and you start working them, working them, working them. But at the whole time creating that mindset where it's like, no, this person can buy. Like I just have to treat them right and like, be able to process it. So yeah, it's that sounds like everything from a nutshell. Like, okay, cool, I got this big picture. And now from here, I guess now that you see this, the questions are what's next for your journey because you just learned this new skill set. You understand like I feel like your eyes like they've seen a different way. Like it's like a big picture now. You see how the whole process works from A to Z on a dealership level. And I guess now moving forward, now that you have this new opportunity, like how do you see yourself wanting to move into this new role for yourself?
Well, I want to be able to replicate with other consultants within reason. Like I suggested, I was like, what if everyone on the team had their own landing page? And my GM was like, that's brilliant. And I was like, do you know how easy that is to do? And he was like, no. I was like, it's very simple to do. I was like, if our auto group will let us do that, we're doing that. And
Yep.
and our leads will go from, like right now, I guess average like industry acquisition cost is between 200 and 300, right?
Yep.
Probably higher than that because of inflation. Um, this dealership I'm at now, their average acquisition is 400. Okay. So I'm like, if we can take that like to $20,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get paid. Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, that's my goal.
Nice. And like, I guess what's the big picture goal moving into management? Like, you've made what you made now as a sales consultant around that like 10, 15K mark. And now going into a management role, where do you want to get yourself to there?
So this next venture is going to be, I'm not gonna it's not gonna be like a bunch of money super quick.
Hmm.
I'm not expecting that, right? I'm not expecting to just come in and make everyone a landing page and then I'm making 30K a month. Like there's a lot of work that's going to go into it. It's going to be a
Hmm.
big challenge. I'm going to have to, yeah, work my tits off. I'm going to be, interacting with other, like a lot of big, important, rich shareholder people that have always done things a certain way and, bunch of rich old white guys like everything else. And
Hmm.
having to be like, okay, so here's the thing. We're going to do this different. And yeah, so I'm going to have to really work on developing those kind of relationships and building trust, and then also help building a sales team that is going to believe in me and believe in the process and helping them get rich first, right? Like
Yeah.
that's helping them get rich first, um, richer than they are now. So
Yeah.
but I totally think like within 6 months, like it's going to be, I think if I'm successful at this store, they're going to want me to go to other stores to do it.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I'm definitely like, now that I have this entrepreneur like mindset, I'm like, okay, time to renegotiate
Yep.
and time to talk to other dealers to see if they want my services, and like collaborate with you and Adrian. Like Adrian's like, I don't even know how we like, and it's just like there's so like the opportunities are endless. Um,
Hmm.
but I see it being like, yeah,
Massive.
yeah.
Like that's game changing for sure. Like with what you've learned here, I genuinely believe like you have all the pre-existing skill sets to now go and like replicate what you're doing on a larger scale. So yeah,
I,
like I said.
if I get this like process honed
Hmm.
in 2025, there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't at least make a quarter million.
Yeah, no reason. That's like I genuinely believe you can get there like as soon as you get into this role, you're just gonna start like clicking things together because like yeah, you learn things that are like outside of the automotive industry. Like you learn like internet marketing strategies and like you're implementing it into like the dealership space, which is like game changing. Like all this
Absolutely.
stuff is like nowhere to be seen. Like at least in automotive, I've never seen any of it, and we've been doing this for a while now. Um, but yeah, I think with the what you have equipped now, like you're more than ready to like really make some like big changes for the people that you work with and that you work for. And I think one thing here, how impactful do you feel like it's been helping you transition from that like, man, I just work for this company to thinking that no, I have my own business and this is my business. How do you feel like that's helped you like create that shift in your head?
I mean, it was crucial, it was and it's kind of funny, like the dealership I was just at before,
Hmm.
we have these meetings like, what's the deal? Like, basically like you guys suck, whatever. Like, there's meetings of opportunity when we were not doing great. And the GM would be like, I mean, I don't know why you guys don't see yourselves as like your own like business. He's like, all like we're giving you the product to sell, like we're giving you the space to sell it in. We're paying for your license. We're giving you all like the, computers and business cards, like we're giving you that stuff. Like it's your responsibility to take it and get the results, like close for all the money, right? Like treat the leads that we pay for really well and follow up with them correctly. Um, so that like message was always kind of there. And then, once I like invested into it myself, right? Like I'm, selling Cutco knives. Like I got to buy them up front before I can sell them. And yeah, so that was crucial. And then, but I did start to embody that more at the dealership. I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
this is like I'm gonna come in when I want. If I need to go, like I am my own boss, okay, and I'm still gonna be respectful and
Hmm.
be a team player. Um, but I absolutely don't feel like I'm working for this family.
Yeah.
Like thank you very much for the shirts and the cards and the inventory. Like no shade, and they did teach me a lot. But I'm like, man, if I could like if I could buy and sell cars on Craigslist, if I had that kind of cash, like I would be doing that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like obviously like liability and crap and all that.
Yeah. I
So
guess that's the difference though, because like I hear that all the time, like at like a lot of leaders in the automotive space, you're your own business, you're your own business. And then it's like, no, like the way that you have it set up is I'm dependent on you. Like I'm like waiting for every single lead. I'm waiting for the people to come onto the lot. It makes no sense. And I think that like they're right. You have product and you know how to sell, but that third missing piece, there's three pieces to the business. Like if you don't have your own leads, you're not your own business. No, you just work for them. Like that's the biggest difference. And I feel like when you do have your own system, that's when you like separate yourself and you start thinking about yourself differently. It's like, oh, I am paying for my own leads. This is how it works or how it feels like to be my own business owner. Because that's literally what you've been able to embody because you have all of the tools necessary to build your own business. And at this point, if you really wanted to, you could just reinvest all the profit back and just get more deals and more sales. There's nothing stopping you from going from 5 sales to 10 sales to 15 sales just by doing the same thing, but doing it more and doing it better. Right?
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a beautiful transformation, Jesse. And I appreciate you for, walking through like the emotional aspect, the thought process and like making that leap of faith. Cause again, not a lot of people can do what you do, man. So I think you should give yourself a pat on the back. And I guess I want to end everything by just asking, um, what would you tell somebody who is trying to do something similar or just is on the fence about like wanting to take a leap of faith into themselves and learn and join our program and do something similar to what you did?
I would say you have to spend money to make money, and the enemy of plan A is plan B.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, you can't accept that. I'm like, shoot, I wish I had this tenacity like before I got all ball and chained up with like all these kids and stuff, like if I would have thought this way in my early 20s, like I would have gone to Harvard, like something like crazy. But I know that, I mean, I am where God wants me to be. It's like, what? Like, this is wild. Like my husband and I will just look at each other and be like, this is wild, like, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm like, we definitely don't deserve it, but like we're working hard, like we've earned it, and I also understand that like with more power and success and responsibility and money, like the problems get bigger, like the challenges get bigger. And so I'm just staying like focused and humble and present, and not trying to like think next think about like the next couple months or the next couple years, um with regards to like assuming anything, right? Like I'm not making any assumptions. Like I'm just gonna put the work in, like think about what I learned every day. Like if I start to get off the path, like refocus however I can. um
Mm.
like I've been talking to Adrian a ton. Like he's yeah, he's the homie, and we just keep in touch with all sorts of stuff. And I think that, yeah, I think that it's going to happen, but I can't just assume that it's going to happen.
Yeah. And we'll be here every single step of the way. I think again, we'll have to revisit this whole interview again once you get to the next level. And I want to document that too, because I truly do believe you're going to be able to go and crush it. And yeah, we want to be in your back pocket and support you, because I do truly believe like once you get there, just implementing some of the same processes and being able to duplicate what you did, woo-wee, it's gonna be crazy.
Like if they I know. I know. As soon as I talked to the guy from marketing yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, just let me know. I'll get you the card and you can like boost your reels." And I was like, "Oh my God, like we're going to build a landing page for every single person. Like it's going to be amazing, you know?"
Yeah, it'll be
The
sick.
OEMs even have like a really easy like if you want to like do any sort of like specific advertising on your dealership website, the
Hmm.
OEMs have like a portal you can submit the video to,
Hmm.
and like instant like yes or no approval. Um,
That's amazing.
I know, I know. So we could like overnight we could be like
A
freaking,
bunch of approvals.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's
I will,
dope.
yeah, I know it's really exciting, and yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, let me